So I wanted to show you some ways that you can look at your project in a little more critical way. So I'm going to use this Google site from a previous year as a guide. Just remember, those of you doing PowerPoints, it's just a different format. So each page of the Google site could be a slide or two in your presentation. So the first thing we want to talk about is organization. I can clearly see here there is the home page, which looks like an introduction. This person has labeled each tab as one of the character traits that they wanted to use, and there's something that says conclusion and another one that says works cited. So you want to make it very distinguished and clear what part of the project we are looking at. And you can think about how you want to do that, whether it's by color or orientation of a slide, or if you want a title slide in between them, it's up to you. Well, let's take a look at the content here. So we know that an introduction is usually about a paragraph. You could have a little more here, but the point is, if you don't know who Dorothy Vaughan is, how are we going to introduce her so that you understand who we're talking about? One of the things that I think this person did a great job of is just giving us the information we need. We don't need to know her birthday. We don't need to know all of the nitty-gritty details. But what we do need to know to help understand this claim statement here, which I'll get to in a second, is that she was a part of NASA, that it was during World War II, that she had education that supported that career path. So we have very basic information about her. That's all we need. Be very careful about not going too far with that. I can see that this person chose to put their claim statement here at the end of their introduction. That is fine. You could have it on a separate slide. This person chose to talk about her as a role model, but the thing that I like is that you can see the character traits here. There's grit, adaptability, self-awareness. She put both, social and self-awareness. My warning here is that that's 4 traits. That's a lot. I'm only asking you to do 1, maybe 2. And the part that's missing in this claim is the how. How did she display these things? I've also encouraged you, because of this kind of project, if you're doing more than one, to go ahead and have separate sort of claim statements. So she's a good role model because of her grit, by her, and then example 1, example 2, example 3. Okay. This project also chose to put the video right on the front page. Putting the video where you want to put it is entirely up to you. The thing that this student did not do is put anything around it. There's no introduction to it. There's no explanation as to what this is. There's no reference to what we're supposed to get out of it. You want to make sure that you provide that information for your audience. What are we watching? What's the context? What are we supposed to get out of this? So think about those things. When we click through her project, one of the things that I notice, like there's a picture, that's good. You want to make sure you include important pictures. But as I click, I notice it's just a list of quotes. So there's a quote, and there's another quote, and there's another quote. It's okay if your project looks like this in the start, but when you're ready to turn it in, you need to make sure you have context and connection. So this student should have something more than just the word grit written up here. Like, what is the trait is grit, but what are you showing me about grit? What are the things that she did to demonstrate grit? And then what is the context and connection of each of these quotes? So it's not just a list of quotes. You need to make sure you tell us what the context of this quote is. Where does it come from? What was happening in this moment? And then how does this connect to showing grit, to making us want to be like her, that she's an admirable person, or the event that she is participating in? So as you go through this last stage here in this project, you want to make sure that this is not what your project looks like. It's not just a list of quotes, that it has the meat to it. It has your words, your thoughts, your process. Let's go ahead and skip to the conclusion here. So the thing that's good about this conclusion is she starts right off by saying is a great role model because. So this is why we should admire her. This is why this student admires her. And that's what your conclusion should really do. On a separate note, this project is very well organized. It looks appealing. I like that there's math looking things in the background since Dorothy Vaughan is a mathematician, scientist type person. The colors make it easy to read. The font is nice and big. I can see all of the words. Nothing is too small. There aren't any really terrible spelling errors. They're all complete sentences. So that's another thing that you need to think about as you go through this project and prepare to turn it in for a final grade.